Hi everyone. Today I am going to be talking about water filters, so stick around. Okay, so if you haven't come across my channel before, my channel is about hiking, backpacking, camping, maybe a little bit of bushcraft. It's about what I can do out here where I am on the west coast of Vancouver Island. It's about the things that interest me. So if any of that sounds like it interests you, then please click the subscribe button down in the bottom here to subscribe if you want. Turn on the bell notifications, and that will keep you up to date with the content that I post. I post twice a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays. So if you like what you see, please subscribe, comment down below, give me a thumbs up. That's that. Onto the meat, or rather the water of this video, water filters. So the first question, why do you need to filter water? I suppose that would be, people may ask that, why would you need a water filter? So no matter how, or no matter where you are, the water that you could potentially come across when you're out camping, backpacking, exploring, blah, 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 it could have microorganisms, microbes, bacteria, viruses, etc. in it that you can't see with the naked eye. Some of them, things like Giardia, Cryptosporidium, Salmonella, things like that, they can make you pretty sick. So you would want to avoid that, hence using a water filter. What do I have? First and foremost, my water filter is the Sawyer Squeeze. This is an amazing water filter. For a start, it filters water, and I have not got sick yet from drinking water that this has filtered. So there we go. That's my approval. Thanks very much. See you next time. Okay, let's get into a little more detail about it. The Sawyer Squeeze, it can filter down to 0.1 microns. So that, as far as I'm aware, thinking of what they say on their website off the top of my head, that will filter out, I think it's 99.5% of all bacteria, microorganisms, viruses, blah, blah, blah. So this is an incredibly good water filter. It is also EPA approved for those down in America. So this water filter is super simple. What you would do is you take one of these squeeze bags that you do get with the water filter. So you would take one of these squeeze bags, you would fill it up in water. Ideally, you want to use water that is flowing if possible, just because it's probably going to have less debris in than if it was just sitting there. So if there's a little stream or if there's some movement, you can filter it. Now bear in mind that these filters can get clogged. So if the water is super murky, has a lot of particulates in it, then you may want to use a pre-filter. So something like that, you could use a bandana, a schmag, something like that, just to go over. Maybe you could fill this with water, cover the end, and maybe decant it into something else just to get it a little cleaner, or even put the schmag over the end of this and then put it into the water. So this will actually filter the big particulates out, and then you will have, you know, non-filtered, less particulate water in the bag. So once you have the bag full, you screw it on to the water filter. Now you have to pretend that this bag is full up, okay? And what you would do is you would just squeeze the bag. That will force water through the hollow fiber elements of the water filter here, the membrane. It will filter it through, and it will come out of this hole here. And you would aim this into your water bottle. The pack that you get with the Sawyer, so I'll just show you that quickly. This contains everything that you get with the filter. So there's some hoses in there, there are some sport drink nozzles, so you could actually put one of those on here and drink directly from it. And there are some other bits and pieces that we may get into later. But generally, imagine, again, bag is full, over your water bottle, and you would squeeze this into the water bottle, and this water is safe for drinking, in theory. So it's a super simple system. Really easy. These bags are pretty sturdy too. Like, I've had them full and I have squeezed them to try and get the water to come out quicker, and they have held up through all their uses. They are pretty light as well. In fact, this whole thing is pretty light. So realistically, all you would need would be, you have to keep the caps, would be maybe the filter and the squeeze bag. You're good to go. Oh, obviously, and a water bottle. Filter, squeeze bag, water bottle, you're good to go. So fill this, squeeze it through the filter, filtered water, you should be fine. One thing some people do is, if they don't necessarily have time, if they're a bit busy maybe, or they've got some other camp chores to do, is you can buy an adapter online, and that will actually screw onto things like a smart water bottle here, which I have. I know it's a plastic water bottle, but I am reusing this. And the reason that I have this smart water bottle is this is super light. This isn't particularly heavy, and the good thing about this water bottle is that if I did need to boil the water, I could put this directly into the fire to boil water. But smart water bottles, generally by the ultralight community out there, they will use these because they are super light. So, as I was saying, you don't necessarily have too much time. You want the water to filter while you're going about other camp chores. So you buy one of these little adapters, you can get them online. You screw your water filter onto the bottle like this. You have your squeeze bag. You screw your squeeze bag onto the water filter, and then you have a closed circuit. So you could hang this bag and gravity will let it filter. It will be a little bit slower, but you don't care about that because you're doing some other camp chores, right? So you just hang this up, the water filters through, goes into your water bottle. So these little adapters are super handy. They're pretty cheap as well. I can't remember exactly how much. Maybe like, I don't know, $5 to $10, maybe. So this is super handy if you want to kind of forget about your water while you do something else. Ooh, some water came out of that. It wasn't empty, apparently. So, as I said, these are what you would use to collect water from nature. Now, sometimes you may struggle because this has got quite a small hole, so you may actually struggle to get water into here. What people tend to do is they will. Now I'm a bit loath to do this because this was my dirty water bag and water's just come out of it. But you would blow this up first. Let's see if I can. There we go. You would blow it up and then put it into water, and that would help fill it up. Okay, so that is one option. Some people have said it's a little bit fiddly, a little finicky. I have struggled on a couple of occasions with that. So something I purchased as an addition is one of these CNOC water bladders. Now, this has a connector here that will screw onto the Sawyer. Right? Awesome. So it's compatible. The good thing about these bags is over on this top end, you slide this off, open this up, and you have a much, much bigger space, much bigger hole to get water into. So you can scoop this a bit more, but you can, you can fit. It's easier to get water into these CNOC bags. Also, again, just on the weight, this is super, super light too. So, a great alternative to these squeeze bags. It's also sturdy enough to seal and squeeze through. So you're not gonna have to worry about popping it or anything. And one of the handy things about this, the little top part does stay on. And I mentioned hanging from a tree. It has this little loop here, so you can hang that, have the filter underneath. Again, you don't have to squeeze it, let gravity do all the work while you set up your tent or get firewood or whatever you're doing. So these CNOC water bladders are awesome too. I haven't actually tested this out yet, so I'm looking forward to doing that this coming season, is testing this one out. The capacity for this is just over 2 liters, so it's 72 ounces for this here. The bags that come with the Sawyer Squeeze itself are 64 ounces, so just a little bit smaller. So we have these. So that is my primary water filter there. I do have a couple of backups just in case. I don't always take this with me, but I have a Lifestraw. You may have seen these. These are pretty popular and they are super easy to use. Pop the end off, stick this in water and drink. That's it. The trailer or the video, the commercial, whatever you want to call it for Lifestraws, people sticking these into puddles, people sticking them into nasty water, everything. These Lifestraws are amazing. You can get them at Walmart, camping straws, obviously Amazon. They are awesome and super cheap. 20 bucks maybe, 15 bucks, 10 bucks, I don't know. Super cheap. I'll try and I'll put some prices down in the description. So a Lifestraw is a good alternative to, it's another style of water filter, okay? An additional backup, let's say the water that you've come across is particularly worrisome. You know, it may be, I don't know exactly what could be wrong with it, but you're just a bit cautious. Maybe you filter it and you think, not too sure. One thing you can do is boil that water. So if you get it up to a boil, you want to have it boiling. It depends on the altitude you're at, but have it boiling for a rolling boil for 5 minutes or so. Certainly where I am at sea level, 5 minutes or so should be fine. The downside with that is then you have to wait for it to cool and you will inevitably lose a little bit through steam. So if you're worried about your water, filter it, then boil it, then let it cool, then drink it. Obviously a bit time consuming. Other things you can do is you can get hold of Aquatabs. These are your good old fashioned, I think they're like chlorine tablets, basically, water purification tablets. You would take 1 tablet for 1 liter. So I could fill this up with dirty water, drop 1 tablet in. I think you need to leave it for half an hour or an hour. Yeah, leave it for 30 minutes, and then you can drink it. The one drawback with these is they can have a bit of a taste to them. So some of the chlorine, you will taste that in your water. But these, again, super lightweight. If you're going out and you're concerned about the water sources that you may be accessing, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So one of these tiny little things contains 10 tablets. That's enough to filter 10 liters. So Aquatabs, or another water purification option that you get these. You can get iodine tablets, droplets, things like that. So Aquatabs are a great backup to have. Just stash them somewhere in your gear and have them as a backup. So that's another way to purify water. One other thing that these say is that if there is sediment or particulates in the water, you would need to, again, filter them out, to try and filter them out beforehand. So again, let's say we were using this, cover the nozzle, cover the hole, put it underwater, let the shmog, the bandana, the t-shirt, whatever, filter out the particulates, the debris, and then you have water in here, tablets in, you are good to go. So, primary Sawyer Squeeze water filter. As I said, I've used this. This is awesome. It has done a very good job of keeping me safe and keeping me from getting sick from dirty water. So Sawyer Squeeze primary. One other thing worth mentioning is with these bags, they are sort of stable enough to transport water in. So let's say I was hiking and I came to a water source. I knew I was going to camp overnight where there's no water source and then carry on and come to a new water source the next day. I could fill up my water bottles with filtered water. Then I could fill this up as well as this potentially, have these in my pack, have them in the side pockets of my pack maybe, and they would be good to transport the water in. I can drink what I have overnight, and then I've got this stuff for when I need it. So these are good for carrying water. There's a little side track there. So primary, Sawyer Squeeze, awesome, awesome filter. Backup would be Lifestraw. I don't necessarily take this with me all the time, but if you are maybe going if you're camping and you're going to do a day hike or something, maybe you leave this filter at the camp, take this one with you. But realistically, the weight difference between these two, I would say just take this one with you. Okay, but the Lifestraw is a great backup. A backup to the backup, something worth carrying because again, super lightweight, is water purification tablets. And then lastly, if you're out and you don't have any of this stuff, worst case, boil water. It should kill everything in. And again, you want to boil it for about 5 minutes, depending on the altitude where you are. If you're at higher altitudes, you need to boil the water for longer. So that's worth bearing in mind. And then a last little thing on water bottles. Once again, the smart water bottles that you can get in grocery stores, etc., are a very light alternative, and they are compatible with the connectors for the Sawyer Squeeze and things. Or you can have a nice metal water bottle. If you are planning on using this to boil water in, you do want to make sure it is single walled. Thermos flasks, for instance, that will keep your drinks hot or cold, they will be double walled and they will actually have a vacuum between the two walls to help with the insulation. If you try to boil water in one of those, it will probably explode, and that is bad. So single walled metal containers are great. As you can, I could have if this was a fire, I could fill this with water, stick that in, water boils, I carefully take this out of the fire, let it cool, we're good to go. So there we go. That is a little introduction to water filters, to the water filters that I have and I will be using and have used in the past. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in and for watching the video. If you do enjoy this content, if you do enjoy the videos that I've put out, please subscribe below. You can click the button in the bottom right of the screen here. Subscribe and yeah, let me know your thoughts on my videos, on the content. And as I said, 2 videos a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays. So thanks again. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.